All right, let's talk about liquidity. We'll talk about liquidity and liquidity sweeps. Okay, there's so many types of liquidity, guys. Make sure you write this down. But the one we will focus on is external liquidity, internal. Okay. Buy side, sell side. Okay. I encourage you guys to write that down. That is the 4 types of liquidity that we will be focusing on. Right? There's other types of liquidity. There's trendline liquidity and all that crap, but we don't need it. This is our main focus. Okay, it's our main focus. Okay, so liquidity. What is liquidity? It is what drives the market. It's basically food for the market, right? Liquidity is money, and market moves because of money. It needs money. It wants to take your money. That's why it moves. That's how it moves. It takes other people's money. Yeah, that's liquidity, right? If you lost in the market, you have become liquidity. Market took your money. Yeah, that's what essentially that's what liquidity is. And how does the market take your money? Through stop losses, right? Markets take your money through stop losses. They either take your stop loss, guys, or they margin call you, meaning they take out your whole account. Okay, if you didn't put a stop loss, margin's gonna call you, and your whole account is gone, burned to the ground. Okay, that's essentially what liquidity is. And the market is like Pac-Man, right? It's not gonna move. It needs to eat before it moves. It needs to take money before it makes a big move, right? It needs money. It's not gonna go anywhere if there's no money. It needs to eat before it has the energy to move, right? It's food. Liquidity is food for the market, right? Market is moving like all of that is doing all that because of liquidity. Okay. What is external liquidity? Okay, this is what external liquidity is. Let me show you. You guys see this range? Oops. You guys see this range here, right? Okay. This range over here and this range over here. That's the range. Swing low to swing high in a trending market. In the range market, sorry, I keep getting confused. In the range market, like this, right? This is the range market. That this is, since we're in a trending market, trending bullish market. External liquidity is the swing low to the swing high. Okay, swing low to the swing high. In the range, this is your external liquidity. That is your external liquidity. That's it. That's all you gotta know. That is external liquidity, right? That's all you gotta know. So in this range, that is your external liquidity, okay? That is your external liquidity. What is internal liquidity? Internal liquidity is the peaks within that range. So this is internal, okay? This is internal because it's within the range. This is internal because remember, every peak, guys, every single peak, you have some retail traders who are trying to buy or sell. In this case, this is internal liquidity. It's been within the range. You have short sellers here trying to, maybe some of them think that market's gonna go down, so they're trying to push the price down, so they're putting their stop losses here, okay, and their take profits somewhere here, and boom, stop loss got taken out. When their stop loss got taken out, guess what price did? Boom, went up, because it took liquidity, guys. It took liquidity here. Okay, it got energy, more energy to push up. Okay, this is internal as well, because price here, buyers are putting their stop losses here, betting for the price to move up. Okay, there was a battle here between buyers and sellers, but guess who won? The buyers did. The ones who put their stop losses here won and took out liquidity here from the sellers, and market moved. Okay, that's you need a good understanding of liquidity, because that's why markets move, because of liquidity. Okay, but I hope that I made that simple enough. Okay, I hope that I made it simple enough. So external, outside of the range. Internal is inside the range, to put it into simple terms. Okay, next, what is buy side liquidity and what is sell side liquidity? Okay, buy side liquidity is any liquidity above the price. So currently we're at 27,196. So any liquidity up here, any peaks up here, there's stop losses up here, stop losses, stop losses. You got sellers trying to push price down. So any liquidity above the price, that is called buy side liquidity, right? Eventually market's gonna take it. And any liquidity below the price, like here, here, and especially here, okay, that is your sell side liquidity. That's it. That's all you have to know. Above the price is buy side liquidity. Below the price is sell side liquidity. They're just names for liquidity, right? That's it. That's all you gotta know about liquidity. Okay. That market needs to take liquidity in order to move. Okay. That's all you gotta know. Now we're gonna cover liquidity sweeps. And why does the market do liquidity sweeps? To take out liquidity and have enough energy to run. Okay? Have enough energy to take off. For example, let's look at what happened here, guys. Let's look at what happened here. See how price went down and then it tried to push up, went up, create a lower low, and then it tried to push up again. The problem is it couldn't push up any longer because it didn't get enough energy, right? Whenever price fails to push up longer, that means it's not satisfied yet. It needs more money. So what does it do? It's gonna go down even lower, take out more liquidity, and the market goes, now I'm ready to eat, I'm ready to move, let's go. Boom. So this is our liquidity sweep. Market takes out liquidity. There was a lot of buyers here trying to push price up. See that? Lots of buyers, price went up. There was a lot of buyers trying to push it up. So they were putting their stop losses there, right? They were putting their stop losses there. But the market goes, I'm not ready yet, right? I didn't get enough food yet. I'm still hungry. What does it do? Went down for more. Boom. Took out more money here. Now the buyer says, I'm ready. This is where smart buyers entry. We're smart buyers, guys. You and me, ICT traders, we're smart buyers. That's why we always wait for liquidity sweeps. This happens multiple times a day, guys. Market does this multiple times a day, right? This is the algorithm, right? It needs more money in order to move up, right? This is where smart buyers come in, hop in. You and me, we're smart buyers, right? We're not dumb retail traders that enter here. Okay? We're smart buyers, so we always have to wait for some sort of liquidity sweep, whether it's going to be external or internal, right? You got to wait for some peak to be taken out, and now we're ready to look for our confluences. What do we get after, right? Look at this. Oh my gosh. Here it is. Look, we get an inversion. It took a while, right? Took a while, but eventually we get our change in the state of delivery, right? That's our CISD. Right click, template, CISD, right? That's our CISD. And look what the market did. Boom, went up. Essentially, it wasn't satisfied here, guys, because there was no proper liquidity sweep. It didn't sweep this. I mean, you could have called that a liquidity sweep, but it wasn't enough. Like, this wasn't this wasn't very significant. This was significant, because look at that V shape, guys. This was significant. This is also, once if price sweeps this, because there's that V shape, which it did, I guess this was the other liquidity sweep. So you needed to take out two significant V-shaped reactions. See how price moved significantly there? Boom. That means there was a lot of buyers. And price moved significantly there, here. That means there's a lot of buyers here, which means there's a lot of stop losses. You got buyers betting that the price is going to go up. You got buyers betting here because there was a strong V-shaped reaction. Took out sell side liquidity, sell side because it's below the price, sell side liquidity, and then it went up. Okay, that's why the market went down again, because it wasn't satisfied. Took out more sell side liquidity, which is here. Liquidity sweep, swept that liquidity, and then market's finally satisfied. We got our setup. Once we got our confirmed with the change of state of delivery, price is ready to take off. Okay, that means the market's happy. All right. Remember, no inversion for value gap, no setup. Okay. Let's find another one. Sometimes, depending on the context of the market, guys, sometimes like you can pass the liquidity sweep phase, depending on the context of the market. However, it's not going to be an A+ trade, right? Anytime you miss a confluence, guys, your win rate's going to go down. Okay, guys, let me repeat that. Anytime you miss a confluence, your win rate's going to go down. What do I mean by that? Let's say you had your first confluence, right? You had a higher time frame fair value gap reaction here. Let's say you had a higher time frame fair value gap reaction, right? However, you didn't get an inverse for value gap, but you got to change it to state of delivery. You're gonna be in a lower probability winning rate compared to price action with a higher time for value gap, an inverse for value gap, and some sort of change in the state of delivery. Okay, this is always going to be the higher probability. Higher time for value gap, reaction, inverse for value gap, and then change the state of delivery. Right? That's always going to be your highest probability. All right. So yeah, well, let's look at other examples maybe of liquidity sweeps. Here, price took out this significant V shape. Look, that's internal liquidity sweep. Price took out this significant V shape. Internal liquidity sweep. When price took this out. These are all liquidity sweeps, guys. That's all liquidity sweeps. You just choose the significant ones, okay? You find the significant ones. They're all liquidity sweeps. So you got sellers here trying to push price down, so they put stop losses here. Sellers here trying to put price down, so they have stop losses here. And same with that, okay? Until price decides that it feels like it's ready, now we look for setups. Once we see this, we're watching. We're not entering a trade, we're watching. Now we look for inversion, then we look for CISD, and the rest. Okay. But I hope you guys are understanding what liquidity sweeps are and what liquidity is. I think that's pretty much all I have to say. You just have to get good at finding liquidity sweeps. Like practice, guys. Practice on FX replay. Practice. Okay, practice. Okay. But I'm going to explain later, because sometimes there is no liquidity sweep. Sometimes it's a reaction straight from an order block and you can get a setup there. Or straight from a higher time for value gap. Sometimes you don't get a liquidity sweep. But remember, if you don't get a liquidity sweep, your win rate lowers. Okay. If you don't get a liquidity sweep, your win rate lowers. It's no longer an A++ setup. You can still take that trade, but your win rate lowers down. Okay. Just so you guys are aware. Hope it's making sense. That's all I have to say about liquidity and liquidity sweeps. If there's anything else that comes up in my mind, I will add it on to the next video. But for now, I think that's it.